CD2 Fishing, I wanted to hop on here real quick. If you guys, literally, you've had to have seen the video of the guys cheating. I was actually on a local radio station again. If you guys have been following me for a little bit, I've already done one interview with them. It's a Corporate Time with Tom and Dan on Real Radio 104.1 out of Orlando. If you guys want to check it out, you can get on iHeartRadio. I believe they're like on Spotify, you name it, Apple Podcast, all the above. So go check those guys out. They've been super kind to me, allowing me to get on there. But like I said, the reason I was actually on there was to discuss the cheating scandal with the two walleye fishermen. I'm not going to play the video. I try to keep this very family-friendly channel, and I really, A, don't have the time, and B, the resources to sit there and bleep everything out. So I want this video for you dads out there or moms that are fishing or whatever you're doing to be able to play this video and, around your kids and whatnot. So, anyways, just touching base on that. As you guys could see, the lead weights in there, fish fillets. There was even a rumor that their pliers got stuck down there. I think that might be a little bit of a tall tale, but bottom line, those guys were boldly cheating. They've been accused of it before. Story goes, it was either last year or the season before. They were questioned, failed a polygraph test. Now, this is what I was told. Like I said, if this is wrong, I apologize, but this is pretty close to everything I'm hearing. But basically, they contested that. I believe spoke with a lawyer or some form of representation, contested it, and was able to beat another polygraph test, and was able to do that. And here's the kicker, guys. They were going to sue their competitors for defamation of character. Well, what character, sir? We saw both of your characters this weekend. The guys lost their mind that were there, but kudos to them for not dead sticking one of those fools. Those guys held their composure. That's a lot of money, guys. That particular tournament, I've heard anywhere from $30,000 to $45,000. I've seen fights happen over a soda at a gas station. So imagine how bad tempers could flare. I mean, you saw those guys were. I'm shocked any of those guys they're still probably without a voice from screaming, and rightfully so. But I also want to bring to light, guys, whether it's stuffing fish or anything else, there's a lot of cheating that happens in tournaments, from low-level local tournaments all the way up to the big leagues. You guys sit there and mention, marshals being on boats and tournaments and stuff. Listen, there's been guys that have snagged fish on beds and, foul hooked them, brought them up, laid down over the side of their boat, basically faking. I don't know if they were trying to fake that the fish wasn't hooked very well, but they'd grab them under the water line and unhook them real quick and pop them up. Those are snagged fish. That's happened a lot of times, guys. Just hate me if you want. I really don't care what any other professional fisherman thinks about this, because if they're offended at what I'm saying, they're probably the ones doing it. So I bust my behind. I've dedicated my entire life to tournament fishing. I kind of got out of it. Like I said, if you guys watch back some of my videos, I took a better part of a decade off of fishing because of nonsense like that. You work Monday through Friday, work yourself to the bone. Like me, I run a lawn service, man. That ain't pretty work. That ain't fun work. It ain't beautiful work, But I get out there, bust my butt, get it all done, and then I go out on the lake. Whether it's fishing night tournaments, weekend tournaments, well, then you've got these wahoos out there stuffing fish and cheating and fish traps and all this other nonsense. They're taking away from me, man. That's hard-earned money. Hard-earned money. I'm getting angry right now talking about it. This is general anger. I try not to get like this anymore, but this has me fired up bad. I've had this happen to me. Me and my brother and uncle, we fished a saltwater tournament. Now, some particular saltwater tournaments are open tournaments, so you can fish all wherever as long as you are back at a certain time. So obviously you can't keep fish alive for this. So some of these saltwater tournaments, you bring the fish in on ice. Do I love that concept? Not 100%, but I do love eating me some sea trout and some redfish. So I don't let anything go to waste. I just about figure out a way to eat the bones out of these fish, but that's for another story. But basically what happened to us is these gentlemen did not realize that I could hear their private conversation they were having away from the group. Talking about how they had stayed on a cabin on the water for the entire week leading up. Now, if you guys have seen fish left on ice for too long, especially trout, you'll notice they start to get a yellow tint to them. No matter what we said, nobody cared to investigate that. We lost out on a nice little chunk of money that weekend, and we worked our hind end off for that. You know, another thing that guys do, another thing on your big leagues, your MLF, your top tournaments and stuff like that, there is a no information clause that happened like 4, maybe 5 years ago. I might be off a year or so on that, but it's in that ballpark time. You can't hop on your phone and call ahead and call your local guides. You can't call that local bait and tackle shop. You can't talk to your buddy, you know, that lives on that lake. You know, I'll use like the Harris chain close to me. You know, say one of these top guys. Now, granted, I suck on the Harris chain. I don't fish it enough. I need to fish it a lot more. But anyways, just for reference, follow me. Big time bass fisherman calls me. Hey, I've got a tournament on the Harris chain. Drop a dime. Tell me, where are they at? Where have you been catching them? I know you fish it all the time. You can't do that. If I bumped into a professional fisherman and said, man, I crushed him over off that point by blah, 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 whatever, they, by rules, should report that to an MLF official. But they don't. A lot of the guys don't. I mean, granted, they've been busted this year doing it. They were busted last year doing it. Another thing that guys got popped for, certain states you're not allowed to two-line or double-line, whatever you want to call it. I call it two-line. And your smallies, especially your smallies. Now, I've seen largemouth do it too, school and largemouth, but your smallies are very known for it. When you set the hook on one smallie and start reeling it in, they'll follow it. So guys will drop. Now in some states it's legal. Okay, it is legal in some states. I don't technically agree with it, but it's whatever. They have to follow what their DNR, or like here in Florida we got FWC. You have to follow those rules. If not, you are gone. So the guys will cast out if they hook a smallie and get the other one. You know, the information's out there. I'm sure you guys already know who I'm talking about. I don't want to name names or whatever, but you know, they were reprimanded, so they know what happened. But that was two lining. Another thing, fish traps. I haven't personally seen them, but I know very credible guys that have seen it. I've seen videos of like the anchor line or tie downs, whatever they had holding on the bottom break. Crate washes up. What's another thing I've seen? Oh, hidden live wells in boats. There's hidden live wells in boats. These guys will pull a cap off their boat or cut an access panel through like a rod locker or storage locker or whatever. They'll have a hidden live well in a boat. Guys, just ask around. If you fish tournaments for a lengthy amount of time, you've seen all of this happen. I'm not just making this up. I'm not clout chasing like a bunch of dudes that are making these videos. I wasn't even gonna make this video, but seeing some of this terrible information and guys not talking about other issues, I had to speak up. And again, if this offends any of y'all, I mean, I personally don't care. If you're a cheater and are taking money off of my table and out of my pocket, you know, it ain't cool, man. You know, especially for guys that do this for a living, man. This is how they provide for their family. Y'all are gonna go out there and cheat? Man, step your game up, dude. Fish a little bit better, you know? Get better. Put in that work. Put in the long hours. Put in the long practice days. Do what you gotta do to make it happen, but don't cheat, man. You know what's a whole heck of a lot less embarrassing than getting caught cheating? Is only weighing in 3 fish or 5 small fish. You can take pride in that because you went out there and did it honestly. Does it suck to lose? By golly, it sucks to lose. I've lost a billion times more tournaments than I've won. I can promise you that. But cheating to get it ain't nothing, man. And that goes in any sports. Kids, if you're watching this, take that L, take that loss. Take that loss with pride, learn from it, and get better. Do not cheat. if you guys can promise me anything, just don't cheat in any of this. So, and if you guys see any of this stuff, anything I mentioned, guys that are two-lining in states that don't allow two-lining, you overhear a guy talking about fish traps, snagging fish. You know, snagging fish is a hard one. Heck, even the marshals don't see it. What's something else? I kind of wrote a little bit of list, so pardon me one second. Two-line information rules. Yeah, no, that's pretty much everything. Like I said, if you guys see any of this, speak up. Make it a point. You know, I don't want to tell you to get loud, but allow your voice to be heard. And screaming and whatnot, it ain't gonna get you anywhere. But, you know, talk about this, because there's fellas out there that depend on that money to make a living, you know. And if they're getting overshadowed by these guys out here cheating, it ain't cool. Answer me one question, YouTube world. Who actually won that walleye tournament that they cheated on? Nobody out there can tell me unless you were standing in that crowd, because nobody knows. They only know about the two cheaters. That was a big tournament, man. 40 grand, 45 grand, whatever. I'd give my left leg right now for 45 grand to pay back all the nonsense fishing stuff I bought over the last couple of months. But that was that guy's pride. That guy's worked his whole life probably to get to that point. And nobody knows his name. Nobody knows his fishing partner's name. Why? Because two scumbags cheated and took that from them. Now, if they wouldn't have got caught, they would have lost that money too. I'm praying that they did. You know, who was in second place, really actually first place, you know, second place, they actually won it because these two fellas cheated. You know, he lost that glory, man. Nobody knows his name. Nobody knows about it. I hope that information gets out, because them fellas deserve it. Or lady, who knows? Could have been a lady. I'm not, you know, not against it. You know, so whether it be that man or woman that was out there fishing, or whoever it may have been, it's 2022. Whatever the heck you identify as, I'm cool with you, as long as you're not a scumbag that cheats. But anyways, again, I tangent a lot. Sorry, guys. I'm fired up about this. You know, I've kept calm. I wasn't going to do this. You know, I did do that radio interview for Corporate Time with Tom Dan. So, you know, because the fellas wanted to talk about it, so they reached out to me. I've already talked fishing with these guys a couple of times. Hopefully be back on there again. I'm going to represent them, hopefully represent them in a tournament on Lake Monroe in Sanford, Florida in the beginning of the year. But that's a story for a later video or whatnot. But yeah, guys, if you guys are fishing these tournaments and see guys doing it, if you're not fishing tournaments, you see guys taking over bag limits or poaching fish out of season, speak up, man. Mother Nature, man, she's provided for us for so long. We need to protect her. So speak up. I want my son, and if my son decides to have kids, I want my grandkids and great-grandchildren and whatnot to be able to enjoy what we all enjoy. You know, and it's stuff like this, we're not going to have tournaments anymore. You know, because if all this cheating goes unnoticed or unspoken about, nobody's going to want to fish tournaments anymore. So my son's not going to be able to fish tournaments. Or if he, again, if he has kids, you know, my nephew, my friends' kids and stuff, they're not going to have this. So speak up, guys. Be vigilant about this stuff. You know, if you got to raise your voice and get loud, get loud. Heck, I've been known to get loud a couple of times. You know, don't fight these idiots as much as you want to, and they deserve to get punched in the mouth. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Those dudes should have been knocked out and drugged across there, but that's not the answer. That is not the answer. Again, kudos to those fellas for not just straight up doing some dental work on those dudes. You know what I mean? But that's not how you handle it. I mean, that shouting and stuff like that is justified. Could they have done it differently? Yeah, and I guarantee those guys are sitting there going, man, I acted a fool. But those guys have had, you know, who knows? I've heard figures in excess of $500,000 to $1 million stolen from these dudes. And that's a lot of money, man. Those guys could have, you know, there could have been guys bumped out of making like the Elite Series, you know, getting back to bass fishing and stuff like that, man. The loss goes well beyond the money just on that tournament. They didn't make that elite. Who knows? What if their sponsor dropped them? What if they could have got a really high-level sponsor by making the Elite Series or something? And again, I'm just using that as a reference. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna work myself up into a young age heart attack. Guys, thank you for listening to me tangent for a little bit. Again, if you see anybody cheating, call them out. Do it in a professional manner. Remember, kids are watching us. We got to set an example. We got to protect the future and set an example for them, guys. Again, guys, this is CD2 Fishing. Thank you guys so much. And real quick before I leave, if you stuck with me this long, I appreciate it. This is a new partner of mine, Detour Sunglasses. These are their floaties. These bad boys float, guys. I'm gonna do a video about them here in a few and show you guys that they're just about indestructible too. I mean, you can bend these suckers all around, bend them out, everything, and they're still perfect. Look at that. Boom. I'm gonna get me another pair here soon and give these to Fur. The boss of CD2 Fishing, my fiance, she got a pair. You know, it just seemed to be great glasses, man. And I think I paid $42 for these. They were running a buy two get one. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Go ahead, like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment, follow us on our social medias, just anywhere you can find us at CD2 Fishing. Hope you guys have a good week, and we'll catch you guys back out on the water. We got a bunch of content coming, so turn on your bell notifications too so you know when they're dropping. Thanks, guys. We'll see you later.